understanding DPI and when do you really need 300 DPI and why 32 DPI don't matter. Right now you will get the answer. The whole DPI thing is a stuff that's not complex, but many people don't get it right. And right now I want to explain it, and I hope in a way that you will understand it. Just a small spoiler, the only thing that really matters are the pixels, and the pixels are the truth. Let's call it in this way. What do I mean with this? You will see it in a short time. So when I'm here inside Lightroom and I want to export this image over here, then I can go to the export dialog, and here inside the export dialog I have a few presets. And right now I just take the topmost preset and I will explain what this preset is doing. So here you see I'm exporting this image to the desktop in a folder that's called 1600 pixel sRGB. When I go down, you see here with the file settings, I go with the JPEG format with a quality of AT4 and with the color space of sRGB. So that's my classical web export setting. For the image sizing, here it's getting hot if you want to. There I go with the long edge, resize to fit long edge, 1600 pixels. And over there is my resolution. Right now I have set it up, the resolution, with 42. And to see this a little bit better, I go to the renaming and go with a custom name and go in with 42. Okay. Everything else is not that crucial, so I will export this image. Then I will go again into the export, and now I take 72, go down here to the resolution in pixels per inch and go in with 72. Then again, now I will go with 300 because 300 is always good, they said, and I go in with 300. Export, and then just for the sake of the fun I will go in with 654, and for sure here the resolution 654. I will export this again, and now I will minimize Lightroom and Photoshop, and I have here my folder, and inside of this folder I have these 4 images, and these 4 images are the 42, 72, 300 and 654 JPEG named image. The first thing that we have to assess is how or which of these images are the biggest one. What do you think? I give you some time, and now I go in and press Command I here on the Mac, and you see the 42, 72, 300 and 654. And the cool thing is, if you go to the file size, the size on the hard drive, you see this is roughly 815 kilobytes on disk. This one is 815 kilobytes, as well as this one and as well as this one. So we have 4 different files with 4 different DPI counts, but they are the same file size on the disk. Is there something strange? Let's see. Okay, so what can we also assess here inside of this information box? So as mentioned before, these are the 4 files. I have them open right now, the information of them. And here you see the file size, the height of the image is always exactly the same as we set it up inside Lightroom's export dialog. So always 1600 pixels on the long edge. So that's this edge over here. So the pixel size is exactly the same. Yeah, but what is different? Let's see. What was the thing we done different? We just set up the DPI counter for these different values. But as you see here, you can't see the DPI counter. So maybe I have done something wrong. So let's open these images inside Photoshop. So I opened these 4 images here inside Photoshop, and that's the original here. So I close this. So here are my 4 images, and now I will go to image size. And here inside image size, you see I have 1600 pixels, and the resolution of 42. I go to the next one, Command Option I is the shortcut, and here you see I have exactly the same pixel size, but here the resolution of 72. The next image, Command Option I, here you see the resolution 300, and the fourth image over here, Command Option I, exactly the same, 1600 pixels and 654 pixels per inch. So, what's the deal with all of this? As mentioned in the beginning, the only file or the only thing that matters if you're exporting with a pixel count for the size is the pixel count. So all of these 4 images are exactly the same images. They are from, or quality-wise, they are 100% the same image. The only difference is that in the header of the JPEG file, in the DPI field, there is the DPI counter inside the files. So 42, 72, 300 and 654. All other values are 100% exactly the same. The quality is 100% exactly the same. And if you don't trust me, I can show it to you right now. So I have here the 654 DPI image. And here I have the smallest one, let's call it in this way, the 42 DPI image. And now I will take the big file with the move tool, throw it on the small file if you want to. And here I have these 2 files. So this is 42 DPI dots per inch and this is 654 DPI. And they are exactly laid so that they are exactly on the same position. So I can show it or unshow it, hide it, and so you see no difference. And the thing is, there is no difference. But to really go on the safe side, you can change the blend mode from normal to difference. And this is more or less a calculation. So you Photoshop is calculating the pixels over here, and it takes the pixel from here. I will zoom in. It takes this value of this pixel and then subtract the value of the pixel above, and if the value is exactly the same, then you get a black point. And if the image is black all over, then there is no difference. And to be 100% sure, I will open the info palette, and here you see the values. And when I now go over the image, on every point, regardless where I am, you see the RGB values are 0. So just double check, I will will hide the topmost layer, and there I see the different RGB values over here. But when I now unhide this image and go with the pen, you see the value is always 0. So there is no difference. And that's the beautiful thing, what you can do with the difference. You can mathematically check if there is some difference inside this image. And as you see right now, there is no difference. So what does all of this mean? If you export your images and you just export it on the pixel size, then the DPI count is just one small value which is written in the header of the JPEG file. The image itself is exactly the same all of the time. This is the crucial part you have to remember. Now you may be questioning yourself, so why do I really need the DPI count? You need it when you go for, let's say, a print size. So if you want to print 30 by 20 centimeters with 300 DPI, this is roughly this size over here, then you say, I want to have in 1 inch, in 1 dot per inch, or in 1 inch, I want to have 300 pixels. And these 300 pixels are the value when you are looking to this image in roughly 1 foot. These are roughly 30 centimeters. And then our eyes couldn't see the 300 pixels that are here printed to 1 inch. And that's the crucial part. If you go for printing, then you need 300 dpi if you are watching the final print with 30 centimeters away from you. If you print bigger and you're watching from a greater distance, then you don't need the 300 dpi. Then you can go with a smaller pixel count or dots per inch count. So just to see where you have to set this up if you want to change it, or you have to change it, I will go to Lightroom again, and now I will export this as mentioned before for printing. So I will call the subfolder print. I don't want to rename it because I just want to export one image. And now I go to resize to fit long edge, and here I change from pixels to centimeters, and now I will change to 30 centimeters. So I want to print a 30 via 20 centimeters print. And now it's really important to change the resolution from whatever there is to 300, because a 30 by 20 image will be shown at a distance of roughly 30 centimeters, and then it's okay. And when I now export this, I see how many pixels I will get. But you can also switch right now, if you have the 30 centimeters with a resolution of 300 pixels per inch dialed in, you can now switch from centimeters to pixels, and you see for 30 centimeters by 300 dpi, I need 3543 pixels. But as mentioned before, I want to stay right now at centimeters. So Lightroom will now export a JPEG. This JPEG will now have a resolution of 300 written in the header of the JPEG file, and the pixel count will be calculated from this. So 30 centimeters was my input, and Lightroom recalculates this. So the pixels you have in the final image are 3543 pixels. So let's see, I will let it with the centimeter count. I export this file, I close this, go here to the print. This is my print. Open with Photoshop, like so. This will now get opened. No, I took the wrong one. I wanted to open with Photoshop for sure. So, like so. And now I have this file opened here inside Photoshop. And when I now go to Command Option I, or you can also go to Image and Image Size, Command Option I, then you see that the pixels of this file, the height in this case, are 3543 pixels. You can double check when you change from pixels to centimeters, and there you see 30 centimeters by 300 pixel per inch. And that's the beautiful part. If you understand that the only file size consideration you have to have in mind is that you have the correct pixel size, then everything is fine. So if you know roughly 3500 or maybe 4000 pixels to be on the safe side are good for an A4 or for a letter-sized print, then you're good to go. If you don't want to remember this, then just remember, when I want to go to A4 or a letter-sized print, I can go to the size of the letter-sized print, or A4 is 29 centimeters and 7 millimeters by a resolution of 300 dots per inch dpi. Then you know Photoshop or Lightroom will recalculate this to roughly 3500 pixels. And the pixel count, as mentioned before, is the only thing that really counts. A nice thing is, if you are exporting to deliver your files to the web, and for example to your website, then you can totally ignore the pixel or the DPI counter, because the only thing that counts in the internet world or on the RGB, the screen world, are the pixels. So I hope you now have a little bit of a better understanding. Just remember, the only way that is really important, or the only counting that's really important are the pixels or the pixel count of an image. The DPI is then okay when you know you want to print and when you know from which distance you're viewing this. And the standard, the default distance of 30 centimeters, for this you need roughly 300 dots per inch.